Think about the people who came before you. Not the famous ones, not the ones who got their names on the buildings or stories in textbooks. The ordinary ones. The great grandparent who came off a boat with everything they owned in one bag and built a life in the country whose language they did not speak, where the systems and institutions were not designed to help them. In many cases, were actually hostile. The coal miner who went underground every day in conditions that would be illegal today, who organized with people around him to demand something better, who built Union Hall and a community center and a credit union out of the simple collective conviction that if the system was not going to protect them, they would build something that would. The family that survived the Great Depression with nothing and still put the food on a neighbor's table because that is what you did. The farmer who worked land that did not always cooperate, who lost harvests to weather and banks and market prices set by people who had never touched a plow, and who got up and worked again because the alternative was to stop being who they were. The immigrant communities that arrived in North American cities in the early 20th century to find that the promised opportunity came with the conditions nobody mentioned. That the neighborhoods that they could afford were the ones nobody else wanted. That the jobs available were the dangerous ones, the dirty ones, the ones nobody with the options would take. And who built inside those conditions with those constraints? Churches and schools and mutual aid societies and neighborhood associations and savings clubs and cooperatives and every form of community institution that the market would not provide and government would not guarantee. Think about what those people were actually working with. No consumer protection, no workplace safety regulations worth enforcing, no social safety net in modern science, no unemployment insurance, no pension, no healthcare system. Economic crisis that wiped out everything overnight. Political systems that were openly captured by wealthy and the powerful in ways that were not even concealed. Wars that took the working generation from families that needed them. Was the system designed for them? Was the math working in their favor? Was the playing field level? Was the rule-making process fair and responsive to the people it was supposed to serve? No, none of it. The system was not designed for them. The math was not working. The rules were written by the people with the most gain from keeping them exactly as they were. And yet, they built families, they raised children, they formed marriages that lasted because when you have nothing, the people beside you are everything. They built communities that held when economy shook them because they had invested in relationships rather than just the finances. They built institutions, all local, perfect players that served their communities because no one else was going to do it. And here's the thing that I want you to sit with. When did they pass? What did they pass to their children? What is the inheritance that actually survived? Not primarily money. Most of them had very little money to pass. Not property. Much of it was lost, sold, seized, abandoned. What survived was what is still here, still operating, still shaping the lives of the people who descended from them, is a way of seeing, framework for meeting difficulty, a set of values about what you owe to the people around you and what you can demand from the people beside you and how you get through the hardest years without losing the most important things. That inheritance is the most durable thing one generation has ever passed to another. More durable than money, which can be lost in a decade of bad circumstances. More durable than property, which can be taken or sold or burned. The way of seeing survives everything. It travels through families and communities, stories told at the kitchen tables, and things demonstrated rather than explained. It is the only way of form of wealth that has reliably outlasted every economic crisis, every political failure, every system that was not designed to serve the people inside it. I want to ask you something difficult. What did people before you pass to you? Not just your parents or grandparents, the whole line of people whose decisions and struggles and choices made it possible for you to be here. Reading this, thinking about these questions, what did they give you that was not money? Because whatever it was, the work ethic, the faith, the stubbornness, the loyalty, the specific way of showing up when things are hard, this is your inheritance. That is what they fought to pass forward. And what do you do with it? And what do you add to it? And what do you pass to the generations after you? That is the questions this episode is really asking.